economic activity is concerned, needs a lot of help, particularly not in terms of financial incentives, but facilitation in crossing the hurdles.
So, Dr. Kumar, with your permission, shall we start now?
Yeah, please do that. Please start.
I welcome all the participants and our eminent speakers for today's session. The session is around the opportunities and scope for MSMEs under the public procurement policy of the Government of India. And before we start with the deliberations today, let me take a few minutes of your time to give you a brief introduction about the organizers of this webinar, which is Power to SME and Wadhwani Foundation. Power to SME, it was established in year 2012 by our founder and CEO, Mr. R. Narayan. He came up with a very innovative business model which eliminated the intermediaries in the supply chain of raw material from the big manufacturers to the small MSMEs on demand aggregation based model, and thus transferring the price benefit to the MSME manufacturers. This is the entire Power to SME ecosystem. As I just mentioned, Power to SME, it is into raw material procurement and sourcing business. Our vertical Finance Me, it connects MSMEs to the financial partners for easy facilitation of working capital loans. Our brand SME Shops is the India's biggest B2B e-marketplace for MRO and industrial goods. Both big corporates and MSMEs can buy and sell industrial products over here. And our NBFC Biz Funds, it is into very innovative solutions in raw material and working capital financing. These are the key product categories that Power to SME deals in: steel, polymer, paints, yarn, chemicals, and there are several others. The major industrial verticals that we cater to include auto components, electronics, engineering, textile, furniture, and there are several others. We can skip this. We are the funded company. Some of the most reputed venture funds in the country they have invested in us. Inventors, Kalari, Excel. Nandan Nilekani is one of our strategic investors. We are also funded by World Bank through International Finance Corporation. These are the few awards and accolades that we have won over the time since our inception. This is our social media presence. Any one of you interested in knowing more about our services can get in touch with us through any of these platforms. Now I invite Aparajita Prasad from Wadhwani Foundation to quickly walk you through their new initiative by the name Wadhwani Prasahita Program. So over to you, Aparajita.
It's always exciting to partner with firms like Power to SME and host these kind of workshops, which are really providing a lot of awareness around the kind of things that MSMEs could gain from. So we at Wadhwani Foundation, we are a philanthropic organization, and we are around 20 years old and founded by Romesh Wadhwani. We have been helping MSME segments and the players in the segments with the kind of consulting needs that they require to overcome the challenges and to grow further. We have a huge network of coaches, consultant, investors, and corporates who could come up and and this is all pro bono basis. Feel free to get the help of these kind of consulting, which can be leveraged to accelerate the growth of the MSME segment. We provide support into the customer segment, product development, diversification, networking across different channels and geographies. And I'm sure later in the program, we would be sharing the link that is there for this program, that is Sahayata program. In this program, it's a simple plug and go model where once you register for the program, we would get in touch with you, understand your challenges, and then connect you with the explicit consultant. So that's the model that we are working on. And the aim is to provide more than 10,000 SMEs to grow and be more efficient into the segment. So over to you guys to take the webinar further and enlighten us.
Thank you, Aprajita. And just a small request to all the participants. If you have any query throughout the course of the discussion to be asked to the panelists, kindly submit your questions in the chat box. These questions will be taken up to the our experts in the Q&A session. So over to you, Dr. Kumar. Please.
Thank you, Zumair. In fact, my greetings to all the participants, and we have an expert on this issue to speak. Besides, I will introduce the whole subject, Mr. Ravi Nandan Sinha. In fact, he is the director of MSME Business Forum India. So the issue that is being taken up today for discussion is how to unlock the opportunities for MSMEs in the public procurement program. Now, this public procurement program, which has been implemented by the Government of India, Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises, for procurement, for preferential procurement from MSMEs since 2012, comprise of, in fact, a policy whereby all government procurement agencies, departments, and central public sector undertakings would procure at least 25% of their annual purchases from the micro and small enterprises. The medium is not included as of now. So the micro and small enterprises, as per the revised definition, which has been introduced since 1st July of 2020, all are covered under this program. And the policy says that 25% of total procurement from the MSM, from the entire country's procurement by the central government departments and CPSUs, because this policy has been introduced by the central government. I will come later about the state governments because they have similarly followed almost a similar or a slight variant of the policy, but there is a policy almost in every state for preferential procurement from micro and small enterprises. So we take this as a benchmark, and then one can see which is the policy available in each state. But by and large, the whole country's government sector is covered by this policy. It says that 25% of annual purchases. So what is the annual purchases? I mean, what is the size of annual purchases? So that is the opportunity, in fact, for the micro and small enterprises. So if if you take out the budgets which have been, in existence by the central government and PSUs and also state governments, I was working out some rough figures. It comes to almost more than 50 lakh crore of expenditure in a year. And if you take 40% of total budgetary estimates, this is other than the CPSUs and state PSUs. So it comes to almost 20 lakh crore. So 20 lakh crore worth of procurement being done by the government organizations is a whopping huge opportunity for the, sellers, vendors. And if you reserve 25% of this, it comes to almost 5 lakh crore in a year. So 5 lakh crore is a huge figure. And where do we stand as of now? It's only, like 50, 60,000 crore or something like that, even less than that. So it's a 10 times more opportunity for the micro and small enterprises to participate in the government program. And the policy further says that out of 25% reserved for the micro and small enterprises, 4% will be reserved for enterprises, micro and small enterprises, which are owned by scheduled caste and scheduled tribe owners. So that is part of the policy. So 4% goes for SC/ST owned enterprises, micro and small, and 3% is reserved for women owned enterprises. So just to give some representation to the marginalized sector, because otherwise they may be left behind. So this policy has inclusive kind of a approach to incorporate because the women owned enterprises are mostly in rural areas, cottage industries, home-based enterprises, small towns, so they should also be covered. Similarly, SC/ST enterprises are in tribal areas and backward districts, and small enterprises, tiny enterprises, so they should also get the benefit of this policy. So that is why this has been incorporated. Then the policy says that all the registered micro and small enterprises will be registered, will be eligible. So all those registered enterprises which are registered as Udyamadhar or registered with NSIC or registered with KVIC or registered with any institutions of the government or even DICs. So they are eligible to participate in this procurement preference policy for micro and small enterprises. So that is the eligibility. Then the policy says that there are 358 items which were reserved long back, I think in mid-70s, for exclusive purchases from the micro and small enterprises, just to give a boost to the promotion and development of micro and small enterprises, tiny enterprises, cottage enterprises. These 358 items were reserved long back for exclusive purchases by the government from micro and small. That policy of 358 items will continue. So in addition to 25% allocation, the 358 items exclusive purchases from micro and small enterprises also is part of the policy. Then it says the policy will provide some benefits. What are those benefits? That all tenders of the government and public sector will be made available free of cost to the micro and small enterprises. So you don't have to pay as micro and small enterprises if you want to participate in the tendering by the government and you want to become a vendor. You don't have to buy the tender. Otherwise, tender fee itself is 500 rupees, 1000 rupees, sometimes it is even more. So if you buy 20 tenders, I mean, you need to spend maybe a good money. So for micro and small enterprises, the policy says the tenders will be made available free of cost. Then the second exemption which the policy gives is the exemption from payment of earnest money and bid money. See, normally in case of government tenders and government bids, along with the tender, when any enterprise files the tender, they have to deposit the bid money or earnest money, which is called earnest money deposit or bid money deposit. That is about 2.5%, 2 to 2.5%, or even sometimes more also. So it becomes very hard for the micro and small to keep depositing earnest money. 2.5% also becomes a substantial amount. So filing a tender of 1 crore rupees, you have to deposit 2.5 lakh rupees as earnest money. So if you deposit, if you are filing a tender of 5 crore rupees, you deposit 10 lakh rupees, either earnest money by way of cash or pay bank guarantee. So if you file maybe 10 tenders, you can't pay, like 50 lakhs rupees in the form of block 50 lakh rupees in the form of earnest money. And that otherwise, impacts your working capital. You have to divert your working capital and pay the tender fee. So this also is exempted under the policy. So you don't have to pay anything. So you can file the tender as registered micro and small, and you will be made eligible. You will not be disqualified. That is the second benefit which is granted. There used to be another benefit called security deposit, which was earlier available. Now that security deposit exemption is not kept in the current policy. So when you get the tender, when you are awarded the tender, security deposit has to be paid only at that time. So once you have got the tender, which may be 1 out of 2 or 3 or 5 or 10, so only in that case you need to deposit security. So that is not exempted. And the last benefit which is available in the policy is the price preference. The price preference clause says that you can compete with even large, bigger, medium enterprises in filing your tenders. Even if your price is up to 15% higher than the lowest price quoted by any large or big industry or any other bidder, even then your bid will be considered. It will not be rejected. So if somebody quotes 100 rupees and you have quoted 114 rupees, 115 rupees, even then, although your price is much higher, but it will not be rejected. Your bid will not be rejected. So it will be considered, but you will be given order at the lowest price, 100 rupees, because they are ready to supply at 100 rupees, the other companies. So you should also be able to compete and provide supplies at 100 rupees. And only 20% of the total tendered quantity will be provided to you, and 80% will go to the original L1 bidder. So this is another benefit which the government thought that even if your price is little higher, you should not be completely rejected. And micro and small enterprises should be given this preference in procurement, even up to the extent of 20%. So it is basically a wake-up call that you are, although you are getting 20%, but next time you should compete. You should be able to provide, because government will not buy at anything which is at the higher price once they are getting at a lower price. So you should be able to compete. But initially, you are not fully rejected. You are given some amount of benefit and order. As I mentioned that the policy has taken off very well. A lot of people have become vendors, and now GEM has also come up, in fact, as a arm of the government, as a window of the government for procuring, for making the procurement for all the government organizations and public sector, even state governments and state public sector enterprises. So GEM is government e-marketplace. It's a platform, e-platform, which has been floated and promoted by the erstwhile DGSND, the Director General of Supply and Disposal. As we all know, the DGSND was the earlier sole procurement agency for the entire government. So they were procuring, with physical manual operations, visiting the factory, inspecting the factory, visiting and quality certification and pricing negotiations and meetings and blah, blah. It used to be a very lengthy process for any micro, small enterprise to get registered with DGSND. We used to call it as, rate contract, registered as rate contract. So that rate contract registration has been dispensed with. Now it is the government e-marketplace, which is called GEM, which has been promoted as an arm of the government, whereby there is a automated process of registration of vendors. Any micro, small, medium enterprise or any other person who is interested can register and supply to the government by following a due diligence and registration process. In fact, the quality check and eligibility and price preference and policy with regard to implementation of procurement from micro and small enterprises is all taken care of under that GEM policy also, GEM program also. So you can become vendor to the GEM, or maybe you can directly, because there are certain items which are not on GEM. The government has initially started with those items for procurement through GEM which are not highly quality sensitive, and they can be supplied with reasonable quality and without any thorough or very in-depth, like defense procurement cannot happen through GEM because that is not off the shelf. It has to be through specific designs and acceptance of the quality and measurement and testing.
Yes.
Similarly, there may be many other products government buys, and they need to be specifically tested, quality certified. So those products have not been listed, or they are not being requisitioned by the government authorities and departments from the GEM. But other usual items like stationery and books and IT equipments and furniture, fixtures, and which can be easily taken off the shelf. They are being requisitioned from the GEM, and GEM has been now growing over the last 4 or 5 years. It started in 2016. It has been growing, and last figure which I was reading is almost 58,000 crore turnover which GEM has achieved. So 58,000 crore worth of sales the vendors or the sellers have made to the government and government organizations through GEM. The benefit with GEM is that it's a faceless, contactless, and cashless process. So you don't have to transact cash, you don't have to meet each other, you don't have to contact each other. It is only through the system that you put your product and the pricing, bid for the items which are acquisitioned by the government by putting your products and prices and registering your products in advance. Also, the government can select. So it is both ways, either against the tender or maybe out of your list of products, government can select. And you can get the order. And the payment is also quite prompt. We understand that it is done in almost 15 days on an average. The process may be slightly different in some, different things. There are certain exemptions with regard to quality certification to these vendors who register on GEM, like units which are, or the OEM suppliers which are registered already with other organizations of the government are exempted. Like if you are registered with NSIC, you don't have to go for any further quality check and testing for registration with GEM. If you are registered with other Quality Council of India or maybe other organizations, you don't have to go for another quality certification from the GEM. So these are the initial thoughts which I thought, let me give you a complete perspective. There is a huge scope for participation in the government procurement program. So let me, I think I will close here, then come back later during our conversation. And if there are any questions, I would like to invite Mr. Ravinandan Sinha now, who is an expert and is dealing with the MSME, centric issues through his organizations. He has more than 25 years of experience for working with various big groups like Tata and Kotak. And he is presently the director of MSME Business Forum India. So, Mr. Sinha, over to you. In fact, tell us the practical side of this implementation of the policy, how the MSME sector feels about this policy, and if there are any changes or improvements which the sector expects under the policy. Over to you, Mr. Ravinandan Sinha.
Thank you, Dr. Kumar, and it's an honor that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sitting and discussing this, but discussing this with none other than Dr. H.P. Kumar. And just to give a brief introduction, Dr. H.P. Kumar used to be CMD of NSIC, one of the prestigious institutions which promotes procurement, government e-procurement by MSMEs, and sir was the MD of that. And during his tenure until date, I think he's a legend who always pushes for MSMEs growth. So, Dr. Kumar, it's an honor from my side.
Thank you. Thank you very
discussing
much.
this with you.
Thank you.
All the participants who all are listening, I want to make this very simple. And firstly, I want that I should break this myth of public procurement through government e-marketplace, what exactly it is. I will try and make it very, very simple for all of you. And let me tell you, before I understood this, some years back, even I used to feel it is a big thing. It's a tender, it's a government e-marketplace. Should I promote this? Should I talk about this? Government tendering, there'll be a lot of red tapeism here. Trust me, what am I going to tell you in the next 10 to 15 minutes? I'll not take long. I'll make it very simpler, easier, and interesting. And I'm telling you, this is an opportunity where we all are not seeing at all. I am saying at all. Let me give you a brief. Public procurement policy of MSMEs has been notified under Section 11 of MSME Act. This is absolutely relevant to MSMEs. And ladies and gentlemen, it came into effective on 1st of April 2019. You have to understand government's basic logic behind this. Why did they come come up with a procurement policy? Why did they come up with a GEM platform? What is GEM? GEM is government e-marketplace. They wanted responsibility into purchases. They wanted accountability into purchases. They wanted efficiency into purchases. And they wanted an economic way of purchasing. 70s, 80s had seen vendor empanelment, and through them there were manual interventions. And Government of India said, we will do away with this. Why did they wanted to do away with this? Now listen to this statistics. I'll try and put in as many statistics as possible that all the participants gets encouraged. You know how many departments, CPUs and ministries are there which is buying through government e-marketplace? आप देखिए आपकी opportunity कितनी है. I want all of you should note this. Central Department 46, Central Ministries 51, CPSU. What is the full form of CPSU? Central Public Sector Units 277. All of these will be buying through government e-marketplace. Now you please understand the opportunity that is in front of you. Now let me tell you, out of the CPSU, we did our research, 44 are sick units. Chaliye hum 44 ko hata dete hain, but government is trying to revive that. 46 central departments, 51 ministries, CPSUs 277 are ready to procure things. I was with Shri Piyush Goyal ji in his last webinar. He said there will be in excess of 30,000 crore of procurement only by the Ministry of Railways. You can imagine, आप पानी पीते हैं ट्रेन में बैठ के, उसका जो ढक्कन होता है, वहां से लेके even the wrappers and other things, cleaning materials, everything is going to be procured by the ministry, by the departments through government e-marketplace. Another statistics which I will tell you, I'm more into statistics. Latest number which I took it from the GEM, total number of orders which was placed, and Dr. Kumar, this is very, very interesting number.
Yes.
It was 47,48,582, and the value of that, transactional value of that is 65,222 crores worth of order is lying with the government.
Super.
Sir, let us not underestimate ourselves and think there is no opportunity. As Dr. Kumar said, 358 listed items are exclusive for MSMEs. मैं तो आपको ये बताने की कोशिश कर रहा हूँ, 47,48,582 items are already listed. I would request Zumair, please show slide number 1, which is the growth in terms of, look at some of the statistics that my team has prepared. I'd like to share with you. Now, this is Government of India figures in terms of procurement. It rose from 17,462 to 22,897 crores. This is a jump. In terms of number of orders, there is an 89% jump. In terms of number of sellers registered under GEM, will say, sir, I'm not registered. I'm not a registered seller. Sir, as of today, 71,564 registered increment is visible on the GEM platform. So what I'm trying to show you here is an opportunity which an MSME has actually never seen. I will come back to more of the data, but I will request Zumair to, before I show you the presentation once again, I would like Zumair, if you can show the last slide that I had messaged you, the last one. Yes, this is Honorable Prime Minister's latest statement. He says people are now buying only those local products, promoting vocal for local. It's a Government of India stats which is saying that post announcement of vocal for local, post pushing local procurement, post pushing buying of commodities from MSMEs, there is an increment. And this is a PMO statement. Now, going back to technicalities, I'd like to show you a small presentation which I have prepared. Yes, Umair, let's go to slide number 1. See, we have to understand, I've tried and made it as simple for everybody to understand. Take it from here, and then I will add some value to it. The total number of MSMEs in India, you all know, are about 6.33 crores, employing so many people, and it is contributing to almost 40% of the total exports. Total industrial production is about 45% from MSME. The contribution of MSMEs to the GDP is almost 7.9%, and the total contribution to the GDP comes to about 29%. We go to the next slide. As Dr. Kumar had rightly said, there are 25%. Government categorically states 25% of the procurement is reserved for MSMEs. Now, this is where MSMEs have to come forward, get themselves registered, and bid for selling it to the government. Out of this 25%, please understand, 4% is reserved for SC/ST. 3% is reserved for women entrepreneurs, and whoever, I think women entrepreneurs who are today here in this platform, in this webinar, there is one very good news that I want to share. Maybe post my this presentation, I will highlight that, which will be an eye-opening for you. However, there are certain, and yes, tenders are free of cost and exemptions from EMDs. A lot of questions which is asked by MSMEs कि sir, EMD exemptions हमको मिलता नहीं है. It is highlighted that MSMEs are exempted from earnest money, but then why are we supposed to pay? Now, there are two things which I would like to say. When you are participating in the tender, you have to understand, you have to register yourself. Where do you have to register? The government in its notification has highlighted whose registration is valid. Number one, they have said is District Industry Center, DIC, District Industry Center, KVIC, Khadi Village and Industrial Commission, Khadi Industries Board, KVIB, or COIR Board, or NSIC, or Directorate of Handicraft and Handlooms. Earlier, they used to say you must have an Udyog Aadhaar. For all those who are first timers and who want to participate in tenders, I would always recommend you must take advice of people or support of some kind of expert who can handhold you, who can guide you. At times we go by the notification saying EMD is exempted, but when the technical point comes, you must read the tender document deeply, which mentions where are the exemptions available and where are the exemptions not available. So let us not blame that because there has been a policy which says that there has to be an exemption, there is no exemptions. Are you registered? Where are you registered? How to get registrations? Please understand, I have seen many bigger companies trying to bid but are not registered with NSIC. And I think NSIC registration is the easiest. And so is the COIR Board. You have to understand where we must get registered. There are certain criteria which are relaxed, as Dr. Kumar said very rightly. Ladies and gentlemen, 358 products can only be supplied by MSMEs. Please do not underestimate the power of purchases by the government. All you need to do is you need to come forward and see as an opportunity of a market business growth. And it is not only restricted to products. I have seen many confusions in MSMEs, Dr. Kumar, where they say it is only supply of products. No, it is even services. Government will take services from you also, but it has to be through a bid process. Latest, I will tell you, very off late, one of the state governments has come out with a tender on training. And let me tell you, this training tender is worth 20 or 30 lakhs. looking for some service providers. There was a manpower tender of more than 200 crores from one of the state governments. Please understand, it's not only the products on which I'm talking. I'm saying when there's an opportunity, it's opportunity from the product perspective, opportunity from a service perspective. We go to the next slide, Zumair. Now, GEM is the government e-marketplace which has 26% MSME registered. I think we have already covered this area. Can we go to the next slide? Now, after the Atmanirbhar Bharat announcement on 13th of May 2020, if people would have listened to Honorable Finance Minister's speech, there were certain restrictions which was made that certain foreign companies cannot come and participate. Certain restrictions was made to all the central departments, central ministries, that above certain amount you cannot ask foreign bidders to come and bid for the local tenders. You have to mandatorily give it to the MSMEs, which was up to the value of 200 crores. Now, similarly, the idea was promoting our local products, as I showed you in the slide, where our Honorable Prime Minister has come out with a statement saying that we were trying to put the economy back on road by making our products be supplied wherever it is required, unless it is of a high value, of a strategical importance, or of technical superiority which needed bigger companies. Otherwise, 200 crores and less, I think that's a fairly big opportunity for us to participate. If you go to the next slide. Ladies and gentlemen, we all talk, when we talk of tenders, we all talk about government e-marketplace, which is GEM, and our road ends at GEM. This is particularly a slide which is very close to my heart, because I'm very happy to inform you the world does not stop at GEM. Please understand, there are 25 more government platforms which is other than GEM. So if you have to get registered to sell to the government, it is not only GEM. You see, as an example, I have shown you, Government of Maharashtra has their own portal. Government of Delhi has their own portal. There are other 25 plus e-procurement portals. Did you know about it? Or you were only thinking that for me to bid or for me to participate was only GEM? And I am telling you, it is GEM plus 25 more, which makes it close to 26, 27. Now, don't you see this as an opportunity? Adding more to that, Zumair, can we go to the next slide? Look at this statistics which I have taken it from the Government of India. It says 2,804 startups registered as a seller on GEM. Ladies and gentlemen, these are government figures. I'm basically bring confidence to encourage you. If 2,804 startups have been registered, 13,666 orders placed. You can go to the government site and check this. These numbers will match. 463.5 crores value of orders were served by startups. Don't you think this is very, very encouraging? If this encourages you, I'll give you another figure. Zumair, can we go to the banner, please? Womania banner, please. Yes. For the women entrepreneurs, as I quoted, I think many people are not aware of this. If you are into these segments, now this is official: handicrafts, accessories, home decor and furnishing, cosmetics, food and beverages, jute products, or wood crafts, sculptures, you can directly sell to the government. These are priority sectors if you are a woman entrepreneur selling it to the government e-marketplace. These informations you must have. Government is opening doors for women entrepreneurs to come and sell to them. And let me tell you one thing. People were asking, sir, do the government give orders on this particular segment? Recently, the Karnataka government had placed an order for about 10,000 shawl. What I'm trying to tell you is, please do not underestimate the orders, but rather see the opportunity that is there. The bigger players who are already participating in this, I'm going to share information, and I'm sure a lot of people will say this is the first time information they have got. Can I go to the next slide, next banner, Mayor? Dr. Kumar, it says that financing is also available. It's called a GEM Sahay initiative. And in GEM Sahay initiative, if you have tagged the order, banks like SBI, HDFC, Axis, and there are other banks who are coming forward to support you with working capital. अगर आपको काम मिल गया, आपके लिए प्रोडक्ट्स स्पेसिफाई हो गई कि ये प्रोडक्ट्स हम MSME से ही लेंगे, आपको वर्किंग कैपिटल की सपोर्ट मिल गई, आपको PSU बैंक सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं, when you are, I think this is the best time to work in India for India. IDFC Bank is also supporting you. Can we go to the next banner, please? First one. Now you understand how growth is coming. People are getting support from the government, be it in terms of orders, be it in terms of financing, be it in terms of women entrepreneurs directly selling things. All you need to do is please see this as an opportunity area to sell. Please see this as, now I'm sure nobody expected the world will ever face with a pandemic called COVID. Now, if you have faced with a pandemic called COVID, you should also know that the country has also opened an opportunity which you never thought you would do, which is participating in a tendering process at MSME Business Forum. And with Power to SME, we are trying to help as many entrepreneurs as possible in terms of complete end-to-end hand-holding when it comes to participation in tenders, when it comes to information about tenders, when it comes to support in terms of a manufacturer. Remember one thing, you have to register in GEM. Cataloging has to happen in GEM, which you cannot do. Bigger company, a listed company, has a dedicated vertical. We will do it for you. We will try and assist for you because we want you to participate, you to see this opportunity as an opportunity for you to grow the business. And the figures that I have told you are all figures which is increasing every day. We go to the last slide, second last slide in the PPT, Zumair, just before this. If you see these numbers, I think these numbers should give you confidence that when government is buying from a startup, why can't an MSME who has still now not participated come and participate here? I was just reading, Dr. Kumar, the latest information that was released by the government of JNK. Dr. Kumar, they are saying if you are local vendors in JNK and there is a JNK related tenders, they'll be more than happy. They are welcoming the local vendors to come and participate and sell to the government.
Right.
Now, this is where what I say, that every opportunity the government is trying to open for an entrepreneur, for a woman entrepreneur to come and sell. We just need to open ourselves and understand this is one area which I never explored. Now I'm going to explore. And my idea of coming today on this platform was primarily to show you statistics. Because Dr. Kumar himself, in his capacity when he was in NSIC, has promoted a lot of procurement government e-marketplace, and he till now promotes this. And it's an honor to me to be discussing this here with him.
Thank
It will
you.
be a
Thank you, Mr.
fruitful
Sinha.
exercise. It will be a
Thank you.
fruitful exercise for both of us. If out of our audience people come and say that, yes, sir, we were not confident, we will make you confident. Power to SME, MSME Business Forum India will make you confident. You have to understand this is an opportunity area. Leave the rest to us. Dr. Kumar.
Thank you, Mr. Sinha. I think very, very useful presentation with lots of very interesting and motivating figures that you have put up. And you rightly said that the government's intention of launching this public procurement policy for micro, small, and medium enterprises has been with an objective of bringing efficiency, accountability, responsibility, and more so the transparency. In fact, the kind of practices that the government felt were happening in the government procurement earlier with various organizations, probably those those needed to be changed. And that is how the government felt that it will help both ways. It will not only help the marginalized section, the micro and small tiny enterprises, in fact, who are not able to participate in the government procurement process. They are not able to compete with the bigger players or the imported products, importers and all those people. So
In
it will
fact,
not
Dr.
only,
Kumar,
yes,
you'll be happy to know that the objective in the PPP, the objective set in the PPP, categorically states promotion and development of MSME. Sir, isse badhiya kya hai, sir? When the government's objective is promotion and development, supporting them in marketing products and services, sir, clearly PPP ke objectives mein laid down hai.
Right. And I am happy to tell you and take pride in saying that I was part of formulation of this policy. And we wrote, in fact, after checking the policy with various countries internationally, and we wanted to bring out the best of the best.
Sir,
As far as
I think that's why I said in the beginning that it's an honor that the man who was behind all this is today talking about this, sir. What more can the audience and me myself
No,
this privilege?
it's a pleasure indeed for me also, because the work never ends. You see, there is so much of demand in the country. There is such a big sector, millions, as you rightly mentioned, 63 million enterprises. So a lot of help is needed, a lot of handholding is needed. And the organizations like Power to SME and also organizations like your organization are too few. In fact, there should be many more organizations to help and reach out to the countryside where a lot of enterprises remain. And we have, in fact, another, as you mentioned in your presentation, the financing facility. That's another interesting facility which is part of this entire procurement process. So, what is your experience with regard to feedback from your members or industry with regard to the payments being made by the government organizations?
Sir, very good question asked. And sir, there has been an official notification from the Secretary MSME to all the CPSUs, state governments, and now even to private bodies to release the payments within 45 days.
Right.
Now, sir, I can only say one thing. People will say, sir, government has still not implemented. Sir, you have been into the government. You have been at a very, very senior level. Sir, an initiative of this kind itself speaks for government's intention.
Right.
I would say, sir, किसी ने पहला step तो लिया, sir, where every state government, the department is monitoring from the state government how many MSMEs payments are deferred beyond 45 days.
Right.
Sir, if you see the working of Samadhan portal today, sir, resolutions are coming. MSME facilitation centers mein resolutions are coming. I will not say, sir, things will improve overnight. But initiative, first step itself is in a very positive direction.
Right. No, I agree with you. And the MSME Facilitation Council, although there are little concerns expressed by people, but still it is working and growing and becoming stronger day by day and resolving the problems of the delayed payments to a great extent. There are chances and possibilities of improvement in any organization and in any setup. So those improvements is a continuous process. So based on the feedback, the government also keeps, making these changes and improvements. But at
We
least
will,
as
we
you-
will definitely improve on it here, sir. Sir,
right.
GEM portal has started Hall of Fame. Sir, GEM portal may, I can tell you, sir, if I start speaking the technicalities, even 24 hours is less. Sir, there are so many inbuilt features into that. Let me tell you, sir, latest IBM is coming up with some innovative artificial intelligence, which is being incorporated along with in some technical collaboration with GEM portal. Sir, the government is working hard. The way they are trying to make it easy for a seller is commendable. And sir, we are not a tech savvy country. We are coming into a tech savvy era. Our MSMEs have not yet adapted themselves to technology. The government is giving us the ease of operating even while in GEM. We have to see that perspective also, sir.
Right.
काफी सारा benefits आ रहा है, and for that I would request everybody, whoever is here or whoever wishes, please see this as a business opportunity.
Right, right. No, I think we covered a lot of information, and now I hand over to Zumair and Sodamini for any questions that the participants would have raised.
So we have lots of questions today,
Yeah,
and
please.
I'm going to go through them quickly because there are many. The first one is from Mr. Vidyasagar. He says the EMD exemptions are not available and bankers are asking for FDs to issue the bank guarantee. This is a very big problem for MSMEs. How can we resolve this?
Yes, yes. So, no, I agree. In fact, in many of the cases, we have received this information and feedback that earnest money exemption is not provided by the tenderers, the government organizations. This problem is not new. This problem has been continuing for a long time. Wherever the earnest money exemption is not mentioned in the tender documents or is refused by the organization, they have to be told. It is largely because of the ignorance and largely because of the non-information at their end about the policy of the government. The policy is very clear. Earnest money fully exempted. Bid money fully exempted for the eligible registered enterprises. So if you are either ineligible, so you won't get it. But if you are eligible, you can really write and show a copy of the policy and tell the department concerned they have to agree. Otherwise, write to the champions portal. The government has opened now, Ministry of MSME has launched MSME champions. You receive the reply within 24 hours. So if you have any case like this, quote the tender number, date, department, and mention that this policy is not being followed. I am sure the government will immediately take action on that. Next, Sadamini.
Yes, sir. So the next question is the performance bank guarantee given to government institutions are not returned after the guarantee period is over. In the same way, the 10% retained is also not paid back promptly even after reminders. The SDBG given is also not returned after fulfillment of supply. So can you please arrange a program on GEM on that line?
Yes, in fact, this is another very practical problem, and I really empathize with these people who have raised this question. The government knows this, and I also know this. The problem is at the implementation level. The policy is clear. The government says you have to refund the, performance bank guarantee the moment your contract obligation is over. The moment your contract obligation and the date is over, they have to return the only thing is they take time in not completing the whole process of completion because of any reasons which may be interior, exterior, or whatever, and that is how they keep delaying. So they have to be reported. Such cases have to be listed to the government. When we go to the government and tell them that this is the problem, they say you bring cases, which is the case, so that we can take up with the concerned department and the concerned.
In fact, I would say, Dr. Kumar, they should document it via an email, and they should write in the champion portal. Otherwise, write to the secretary MSME. It will be resolved. It will be taken up.
Yes. So, Damini.
Yes, sir. Sir, Mr. Deshmukh is asking, in case original bank guarantee is not received from the client and submitted to the bank after its expiry, banks do not give credit. What can be done in such cases?
Actually, as per the Reserve Bank of India guidelines, the return of original bank guarantee is required. Although the bank guarantee can be encashed without the submission of original bank guarantee, but for reversal of liability at the bank's level, they need the bank guarantee original back. And there should not be a problem because the beneficiary should be able to, I mean, if, I can understand that if the beneficiaries are the government organizations, as you rightly mentioned earlier, that they don't return in time, till such time the problem with the bank, between the bank and the borrower or the applicant of the bank guarantee continues, because they will not reverse the liability, the bank at the bank level. So this is a problem which, of course, as Mr. Sinha also mentioned, that you should list it out and take it up with the on the Champions portal. Basically, the question is return of the bank guarantee, so that you can get the facility from the bank.
The next question we have is Mr. Jairaj is asking, if there are more than one MSME within 15% bracket of L1, will all the MSMEs be considered to work at L1 rate?
Mr. Sinha, would you like to answer, or should I?
So you need to unmute, Mr. Sinha.
Yeah, please. Hello, am I audible?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
yes. Would you like
Can
to
you-
answer this question?
Can you please repeat the question, please?
Sure, sir. If there are more than one MSME within the 15% bracket of L1, will all the MSMEs be considered to work at L1 rate?
Yes, all the MSMEs will be considered to be working at the L1 rate. Yes.
Let me add here that the order will be placed on all of them in the ratio of the quantities which they have bid. So everybody will get some quantity, but
Yes.
somebody who has quoted higher quantity, they will get the higher percentage. Somebody who has quoted for the lesser quantity will get the lower percentage, provided the rates of all of them are same. Otherwise, even within 15% also, the quantities vary, but all of them will get the orders.
The consideration has to be to all, not only to one single MSME.
Yes.
I hope I'm able to make it clear, Jairamji.
Yes, yes. So, Damini?
Yes, sir. Mr. John is asking how to register as SME for service industries.
Mr. John, unlike a manufacturer who has to register his catalog, the cataloging part has to be done in the GEM. For a supplier, for a service industry, you don't have to do cataloging, but there is a registration process which has to be done, which is much simpler than as compared to when you're doing your cataloging part.
Yes, so Damini?
Yes, sir. Mr. Ujjwal is asking, registration under GEM is a very tiresome process. Please arrange a program for GEM registration processes, and also how do MSMEs include their products in GEM category as sellers?
I think it's a good suggestion.
Very good suggestion, sir. And you also, sir, we can do a tender training programs, a GEM registration training program. However, yes, it is very, very correct. It's a very tedious and very technical also registration.
So let us organize a program, Zumair. So Damini?
Yes, so we will definitely take into account, and we will work towards such a program. Mr. Rajesh is saying we are an MSME and have registered on GEM, but we do not have assessment, computer-based online exam conduction vertical in that. So it becomes of no use to MSMEs like us.
Rajesh,
yeah.
Sorry,
yeah,
Dr. Kumara.
No, please carry on. Yes.
I think firstly, let me welcome Rajesh ji. Rajesh ji is one of the upcoming MSMEs and have been awarded also as a champion MSME and a startup. Rajesh ji, your question says that you are a service provider, if I'm not wrong, the assessment part.
Yes. Yes.
You please elaborate what are your doubts into that, so that I'll be more able, I'll be in a better position to answer it.
So the government of India is putting up end-to-end tenders for conduction of computer-based online examination for government recruitment or PSC recruitment or entrance exam and all that. But most of the companies who are eligible for this are taking services of booking the test centers through us, like a Oyo Room and like a Make My Trip things. So when we met the CEO GEM, they said that vertical is about to just, it was 2 years back. We followed a lot, but that vertical never came because these service providers are few in number who can directly give that other than assessment companies. So we are in that category. So that is what the challenge is for GEM, for we not been using their services.
Rajesh ji, I'll be more than happy. Can you write to me? Because yes, I have also heard this vertical was supposed to start long time back.
Yes.
We can just see. Before I comment, I would like to take a feedback from the department.
Yes.
It will be much better if I take a feedback and then come back to you.
Definitely, sir. Definitely, I'll write back to you. Thank you, Ravi, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Over. So Damini, next.
So सवाल तो हमारे पास आज बहुत आ गए इस पोर्टल को लेके, and I think the important cue that we as organizers have taken is that हमें जल्द से जल्द GEM पर एक webinar organize करना पड़ेगा to address the number of queries we have, which have even given us a great pointer into what direction we should be heading in. There are many suggestions like the GEM should have an app which is user friendly, down to a lot of inputs are coming in.
So,
A lot of yes sir.
I'll just add. GEM app or the GEM portal is very, very user friendly. Let me tell you, all of us, when we started, when the pandemic started, we all found Zoom to be very, very tough. We thought,
Right.
kaise hum log Zoom meeting karenge, how to log in, how to do this. And today, I think everybody is an expert. Similarly, I'm telling you, the GEM registration initial information looks tough. Otherwise, it is a super position to actually work through the government e-marketplace. I know many startups and MSMEs who says ki, sir, my business is exclusively into government. Exclusively into government.
Mhm.
So, as rightly said by Dr. Kumar, I will look forward to partner
Yes.
again with Power to SME, and we will get a specialist to coach you on GEM registration. You can write to us. You can write to Power to SME or approach MSME Business Forum. We will see how best we can do. And I can again tell you one thing: it is not costly. It is very easy. But a bigger listed company has a department and it is giving profits. So you should hire an expert. Hire in the sense, outsource this to an expert who will guide you. And I'm telling you, your growth will be minimum 3x.
So Damini, please remind me, we will take up with the GEM CEO. So
Absolutely, sir. And I think we should do this. The topic is also very warm right now. So हमें जल्द से जल्दी organize करना चाहिए, and I will definitely reach out to you. And Mr. Sinha, it will be our pleasure to have you on board for this particular program that we do. And I would like to thank both of you for this very dynamic and extensive session we've had this evening. And thank you for our audience for being so, interactive and so proactive with your questions and suggestions, and leading us into the direction of the program we should be hosting. And we look forward to getting these inputs from you, because we look at the SMEs. If we're serving the SMEs, we look at you to guide us to where you need assistance or you need help. So I've given the link in our chat box for feedback. Please let us know what are the areas we can help you, so we can find the experts and successfully help you in those areas. So I thank you all for being here this evening, and I look forward to seeing you again next week. Thank you very much and have a good evening.
Thank you, and thank you, Wadhwani Foundation. Thank you.
Thank you, Damini. Thank you, Zumair. Thank you, Mr. Sinha. All the best.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.